Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to check the ROG Strix Scope RX TKL Wireless Deluxe Keyboard. And I would like to say thanks to our friends at ASUS Philippines for letting us test this keyboard. First, let us check what are the things that are included in the box. Inside the box, there is a cloth covering the actual keyboard, and let's put this aside for now and let us try to check the other accessories included in the box. And we have here a USB cable which is from Type A to Type C, and I really like the build of this one. It is actually premium feel for a USB cable. And aside from that one, we have here a RF extender or receiver if you are actually having an issue with the wireless connectivity of your keyboard to the wireless dongle. Aside from that one, we have here a wrist rest that will actually make you comfortable using the keyboard. But for me, I'm not actually using a wrist rest, and let us try to check if it will actually fit the actual keyboard. Okay, let us try to put this aside and let us try to open the keyboard. Okay, and as you can see, we have here the keyboard, and actually the build, I think it is actually good and sturdy. If you can see, I'll try to flex this one. It barely flex because it is well built, and I like the quality of this keyboard. It's kind of heavy, but what do you expect from a great gaming keyboard? And now let us try to check if this wrist rest will actually fit this keyboard. Okay, and I think there is a magnet on this wrist rest, so it should stay in place. But the magnet is not that actually strong, but it is still using a magnet to fit the keyboard. So here. But for me, I don't like using a wrist rest, but this is actually a good addition to this keyboard. Now let us check the connectivity of the keyboard because it has three options. First would be the 2.4 GHz wireless mode. Just plug in the wireless USB dongle that is included and you are actually good to go. Second would be via Bluetooth, and you can actually connect three devices at the same time. And if you want to switch from one device to another, just press the function key plus number 8 or number 9 or number 0. Aside from that one, you can also use a USB cable to use it as a wired keyboard, and at the same time, that USB port can be used to charge the keyboard. For battery life, it is mentioned that you can get as much as 76 hours, but it will vary from one configuration to another. Like the light settings are a great factor for battery usage. But for my actual test, I was not able to drain the battery for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of testings and 3 to 4 hours of daily use, and I still have around 20% before I fully charge the keyboard. When charging the keyboard, to know if it is still actually charging with the USB cable plug, the ROG logo on the upper right will illuminate. Now let us go with the mechanical switches. As per checking the keyboard, there are actually two variants. One is the ROG RX Red, which is linear and sweep, while the one that we have right now is the ROG RX Blue, which is clicky and speedy. The actuation point is 1.5mm with tactile force of 65 grams and total travel is 4mm. For the keycaps, it is PVT double shot made for ROG RX optical mechanical switches. It was also mentioned that the switches features a central LED, and each key stem diffuses the light to create a stunning in-key lighting effect, which is, I think, it is actually looking really great, especially on that left button. But I believe it should be available with the other keycaps as well because currently there is only one keycap that takes advantage of this all-round illumination. Before we forget, there is another key on this keyboard which is called the stealth key, and it is actually for instant privacy. What it actually does is hide all the apps and mute the audio of your computer. I'm not actually sure on whom is it actually built for, but I believe it is a great addition in an event of suddenly you want everything to be quiet and hide the games that you are playing, or maybe hide the video that you are watching because your parents is coming to check on you. And here is the actual sound of the ROG RX Blue. Now with the ASUS application. Now, let us try to open Armory Crate and choose the proper device for this one, which is the ROG Strix scope. Click that one and you will be redirected to the keys. For the keys, you can actually change individual keys according to their function. Like for example, if you click this one, it's a default, it is an arrow on the right side, but you can actually choose another function for this one, like a keyboard function or a mouse function, macro, depending on your needs. You can also disable Alt Tab and disable Alt F4 on this one for gaming mode preference. And aside from that one, let us go to the RGB indicator. For the RGB indicator, you have here the ROG logo. If it is on battery mode, it will illuminate and show you that it is still charging. And you can also change it to sync with the keyboard lighting for the specific keys. For the modes, it will sync with those lighting effects. Aside from that one, let us go to the lighting. For the lighting, there are a lot of options. You can actually choose static, rainbow, everything that you need. It is actually in here, or also choose Aura Creator if you want. And for this one, you can actually customize the LED brightness. But just make sure that if you actually change the brightness, it will drain your battery faster because the LED brightness is set to 100. And aside from that one, let us try to go to the power. Okay, under the power, you will see here the battery percentage of the keyboard. And aside from that one, there is a lighting alert. So every time that your keyboard is actually at around, maybe for this one, the setting is 20%, it will notify you that the battery is actually on 20% level. And you can also change the settings to sleep mode. If you're not using the keyboard or not typing, you can change it or make it sleep for example, 5 minutes. Or if you want, you can set it to never. And aside from that one, you can also enable power saving mode, and that is actually useful to conserve energy or power for your keyboard. And the last one will be the firmware update. If there is a new firmware for your keyboard, you can actually see it here, check update, and usually you should update the firmware because there are actually some fixes or changes with the configuration of the keyboard. Now for my verdict and recommendation, I think this keyboard deserves a 4.5 star. And the main reason why it is not actually a 5 star is just because of the keycaps. All the keys that have second function do not have illumination on their second function, except for that one key, that mode key. The switches already have a great capability to illuminate the stems, and I think it should be utilized as well. Because when I try to play or use the computer on a dim or lights off environment, it is really hard for me to look for the second function that I need. Aside from that one, this keyboard is actually perfect. For the past 2 weeks that I've been trying to use this one, I did not encounter any unresponsive keys. The build quality and battery is great. I even like that stealth key. And lastly, I love that clicky feel on this keyboard. One thing I forgot to mention is that if you love to change to custom keycaps, it might not work for you because on the time of creating this video, I tried to look for a custom keycaps for this ROG Strix scope on Lazada and Shopee. Unfortunately, I didn't see one. But if you have a 3D printer, maybe you can actually create your own keycaps, and maybe there is actually a store that is actually selling a customized keycap, especially for this ROG keyboard that I didn't see. Hopefully there is one. But overall, this keyboard works great. I think that is all. I hope you like the video. If you have comment and suggestion, comment down below or message me at JK Chavez on FB. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe and bye.